Hello guys, how you doing today? Welcome to another beautiful episode of Leadership Podcast with me, Stephen Akintayo. And today, I have an interesting guest. In fact, that's the word to use, interesting guest. Because, you see her virtually every day. All of you are Nigerians, whether in diaspora or here in Nigeria. She's been on your face the last 11, 12 years. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest is Morayo Afolabi-Brown.
Thank you so much.
Right?
Yeah.
MD TVC Entertainment.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Akintayo. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Isn't it weird when you are interviewed?
Well, I think it is. And I think I'm actually craving it now because I think I have been a moderator for every single day for 11 years.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to that stage in my life where I've accumulated quite a bit of information.
Okay.
I think it's time for me to start sharing and start expressing my own views. So very soon, I might be also seeing what I can do to be interviewed more.
Okay, nice. Is this your first podcast?
No, I have attended a couple, some on business and some on women. I think MTN had a few. So I have done a few podcasts. And it's cool. It's just interesting to have been interviewed.
It's not as fun.
Maybe not going to be like yours because you already know a bit of my story. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but it's still going to be a gist. I mean, your story, by the way, is really inspiring. I mean, when we look at where do we start from? Is it your childhood? I mean, your recent book. Let's start with your book.
Yeah.
You published it when?
It was published last year.
The
June,
title?
And it's called Becoming the Queen of Talk TV. And I thought it was important for me to share my real story. You see somebody on television, you think somebody just handed it over to her. And it wasn't like that. I was coming from somewhere. As a young girl, I had my own dreams, my own passions, and life happened to me in different ways that caused me to change the path or course of my life. So television came. Initially, I somewhat rejected it. And then, life happened such that the opportunity was in my face. I had no choice but to take it. And since then, I've hosted the show. Pretty exciting. I've had quite a few episodes on the show with different issues, up, highs, lows, and all that. But in all, I'm grateful because it's not easy hosting a breakfast show every single day for 11 years. It's quite tasking, but I have a great team of ladies who work with me, and we've been able to sell the vision, and all of them can actually function with or without me. So I'm really happy for
But the book has the book done.
The book has done really quite well. I was really excited. The
you
first
were nervous. I remember. I was just on your show.
You told me to write a book. In fact, I forgot to mention that part. That was so crucial because I think it was the very first time we met. You came on our show. And then after the show, you called me and said, Morayo, you need to write a book. And I'm like, book, okay. Which book? He said, no, write a book. He said, don't worry, I'll help you. Let me do a series of interviews. You then use the chapters. And that's how we started. Exactly. And we had about 12 or so chapters where that actually fed into how the book came out. Because, that's so true. That's an important part of that book. So the book actually has been doing very well. Okay. Although I stopped selling recently. When sometimes you just get tired, but I will continue to sell. Because you just feel like you have other things to do. But even without so much sales, people have requested the book both locally and internationally. And I was really overwhelmed by the amount of love, appreciation people express towards that book's success. So I'm really grateful to people.
Will you say you've had there is a challenge some of us have where we're scared of success? Will you say you're such a person where sometimes success scares you? Like,
absolutely. I think you probably even know where that's coming from. It scares me because I was brought up with that thinking that modesty is king. Just do it niwaba, just fine. Because I always had that belief that it's not until you're so rich that you can make an impact, that even in your small way, you can make an impact. So I've never pursued wealth. I've never pursued more than what I have. Although people have tried and I've been inspired. So for people like me, I am naturally inspired. So if you tell me, Morayo, do this, I might not do it. But if I am exposed to the knowledge on my own and I see it and I see others do it, I am likely to take those steps because, I've seen your success. I've seen what you've done. I might take it. But you telling me I'm not likely to do it because I feel that I grew up with with my father making me feel like every rich person is a thief, So once you're telling me, Morayo, try to do it, and I'm thinking, I don't know what you're even doing to be successful. So it's just a mentality thing, but it's going to take a while because I've gone to many conferences, I've spoken to many coaches who have tried to help me change my mindset.
Yeah.
But I then realize that it's not about what they tell me.
Yeah.
It's about when I make that decision to begin to evolve myself. And I think that's something that it will take my time, and I understand my own pace, and I'll definitely get there.
I saw your frustration going to Dubai for the
International
Women event,
yes.
where you were almost regretting, hey, I should have just been in Nigeria.
I'm telling you.
I don't go for international conferences. I decided to go.
Yes.
I missed my flight.
And I just posted it innocently. People started sending me messages. People felt bad for me. People were people apologized on my behalf. In fact, Turkish airline even called me and tried to see what they can do to compensate. I said, don't bother, I'm not interested. But I think it was just because I really want to take that.
It was a human moment.
Yes, it was a human moment. I want to take that first step. Morayo, listen, every day, conference here. Okay, you too, put your money, you wait your mouthpiece, go to this conference. And then that happened. So I was sorry, but even Mr. Washika saw me. She said, congratulations, I'm so happy that you made it. And even Tara Fela saw me. She was so happy. Everybody saw me, they hugged me. I said, I didn't even know. I was on the plane, I didn't even know.
It has gone viral.
Yes, when I got I was like, everybody started greeting me. I'm like, what happened? So it was an experience. You're right. It was an experience.
But how was the conference?
Oh, it was phenomenal. I think
you eventually said that there's a need for more.
There is. And I think by God's special grace, I won't miss it again. Wow. I think I would always like to be there. And I think, one of the things that kind of conference did for me was it re-echoes what you already know.
Yeah.
And it helps you know that, listen, there are lots of women out there doing great work. Don't be left behind.
Yeah, true.
There's so much work to be done. I wish is such a good leader. She helps you to drive a vision.
Yes.
And the vision she has put out there, which is something I'm still working on towards achieving, being part of the solution of that problem she stated for us to solve. So I think it really helped me to understand the importance of women really coming together as a force, as a strength. It really helped me. And it opened my mind because I'm always very careful. But it really helped
very
me
conservative.
to open. Yeah, I am. I try not to go beyond. But no, that conference did it for me. And it actually opened my mind to start doing more things. I started asking questions. I started asking people around me, how do you do this? What can I do this? What can I do that? And now I'm moving forward compared to how I was before.
I think one of the most awkward moments I've had with you was speaking to your husband about the book. And
God.
How you all look as if we're being careful. People always take my wife take advantage of my wife. And in my mind I was just like, oh Lord, if I'm going to take advantage of someone, it won't be on a book.
Yeah, right.
but I could see honestly the fragility, and it's a beautiful way we used to grow up in Africa, where we're very contented.
Yes.
Even when we want to get more, we want to be sure that we're getting it within the right confines, and we're also wanting to also be careful to be sure that we're not cheated and all of that. But that also helped me to appreciate your husband. And where I'm going is, how has your husband contributed to this journey? Because I saw a man who was, ready to say, hey, I want to be sure my wife is just not, and I just loved it. Funny enough, it should have been something I should be angry about, but it made me to love him more. Like I appreciate it.
So he's always very careful because he knows my personality. I'm the kind of person I trust easily. And I'm the kind of person that I just want to do things. And he helps me calm down. He's almost like a leash. Remember that one of the things my mother told me, I like him because he can hold you down. And so that's what my husband has always been. He's the one, always the voice of reason. He has native intelligence. So what I can't see, he always sees. Even before I even think about it, he has analyzed it for me. And it's okay. I'm not saying you shouldn't go, but this is what I foresee. Sometimes he insists, he can be very pushful and forceful. And sometimes I yari for him. Sometimes I don't yari. I think I accept it. But I think really he has been somebody that I respect his intelligence, I respect his exposure, and I respect where he's coming from, because he also he's schooled in Nigeria. He understands people. He's very street smart guy. So he sees things, and I think I like that, and I like that option. So he's been a very helpful friend. He's been a good close friend of mine, and it's somebody that I know that I'm grateful for everywhere I am right now. I'm grateful for the part he has played in my success.
But how have you both? Because somebody said marriage is two, forgivers living together. How have you both come to that? I mean, because when you see marriages that have lasted, a lot of time people think they're perfect. They have suited for each other. But in reality, it's people that keep stepping on each other's toe, not unintentionally, but have to also always have to just keep forgiving. And for you, how has that been? How many years you're married now?
I'm going to be 30. 12 years, going to be 13 years.
So how have you guys navigated that part of having to forgive and just keep moving?
So I think, actually we have 13 years. I think for my husband, it's been for conversation. My husband's love language is conversation. Just keep talking. And so because he's always expressive, there's no hidden issues. We say it out. So, and I know the kind of person he is. So I know the kind of things that steps on his toes or the kind of things that get him upset. So we're able to meet each other halfway. And he also knows the kind of things that gets to me. So I think one of the most important things in our marriage has been the fact that my husband is a communicator. You will not go to bed until we'll discuss this matter. If it is fight, we'll fight it out. And me, I'd rather not fight. I just he said, no, Ajayi, let us fight that fight now. He wants me, and sometimes he wants me to talk. And I'm like, I don't need that headache right now, but he wants you to let's thrash it because 5 minutes later he's saying, "Hey, sweet Baba Oni," and I'm thinking, I want to sulk. I'm upset with you. Give me 4 days. 4 days. But he wants to just move on. I said, no, I'm upset. So he forces me to talk. He forces me to confront the issue. So I think because we converse in a lot of issues, we've been able to forgive each other quickly and adjust and move on. It took me a long time. Trust me, to get to that point. It took me a long time because I just want to be angry. I want to be just angry. Just give me time to be angry. No, Brown will not like to be angry because he will just start moving and you're just like, Brown. So there was a time that I wanted to show him, I'm not going to talk to him. I kept malice for 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
He didn't even know there was a problem.
Yes, the guy was just accessing normal. Can't he see that I'm upset? He didn't even see it. He's like, but I think, so that communication from his end has really helped us to forgive each other often.
But why is that important in marriage, for particularly women? Because I see women who are ambitious, who are driven in entrepreneurship or career, and their home messed up, not because anybody was bad. It's just the same conversation.
I think, I don't know, we're taking things the day at a time. And the truth is that success is growing, people are evolving. And I think for many homes, it's all is based on what happens per time. So the Morayo that I was in my 30s is certainly different from the Morayo that I am in right now in my 40s. The conversation I'm having with my husband is even different, So there's when I was in my 30s, we just started a family, we were just having the kids were younger, and I trusted his leadership 100% without even questioning it. But now I'm in my mid 40s. I didn't question his leadership. I don't question his leadership. But now I'm a bit more exposed. I'm a bit more. I've grown in my career, and certain things I'll ask you questions. Okay, why don't we do it this way? And that now brings up. When did you start asking me that? And I said, well, let's see. And it's like, this is how I think. I know that you've insisted on this, but this is how I feel about it. And he's also accepting the fact that Morayo is no more that Morayo girl married is different. Is quiet. This one now is a different level. So he's also seeing that. So I think it's us evolving together, growing together. As I am growing, he's growing. As we're seeing, don't leave anybody behind. In everything I am doing, as a TV presenter, as somebody who has an external profile, I carry my husband along. We do it together. People are used to seeing Mr. Brown. Everybody knows Mr. Brown. How? Because I put him out there. True. So we do it together. I don't leave him out. So he also tries to carry me along when he's going to all these quarters, events and everything. He takes me along too. So the idea is that carry each other along, because the truth is that those are the kind of memories you would need as you move forward that would help you guys to hold each other. You don't feel like somebody doesn't feel left out in the whole thing.
Running a woman's show, I mean, people believe always that sometimes a group of women, there are always issues.
Yeah.
How have you navigated that fine lines? Because women can be a bit...
I honestly, Dr. Akintayo, I beg to differ. I really do think that one of the things that makes us, the ladies of your view, get along is because I was able to sell the vision.
Okay.
Every single person understands the assignment. It's not about me, and I think I live it. It's not about me personally. It's about what we are doing to people, how we're helping the minds of people change, how we're even empowering women. When we started Your View, there was no show on Nigerian television where women were speaking. People were hosting shows. There are lots of TV hosts for female, but where women were expressing their own view about issues, it was non-existent. But now there are lots of TV shows, there are lots of people out there having talk where women are talking. And for me, I am proud of that we started somewhat like a movement of women speaking. A lot of women weren't speaking then. So because we keep our eye on the ball, let us keep talking, because we need to understand that when women express themselves, you birth a confident child, a confident girl child emerges. That, you know what, I'm also part of the society. Yes, I live in a patriarchal society, but I'm also a human being with a voice, with a position, with accomplishments that must be recognized. So I think what we're doing is so powerful that each of the ladies understand that. And we remind ourselves of it. And because of that, they align. And then also as a leader, we've had baby steps in the past. We've had issues, conflicts in the past. I won't lie. There have been conflicts in the past, but we have resolved it. And we have let it grow. We've grown through those issues. We've tried to make sure that we don't go back to the mistakes we made of the past. And I think that's why we're stronger. So even all the new ladies joining the show are seeing a strong force. Amaka recently joined the show. Okay. And she blended in easily, because we found if there's a foundation of strength that you see. So you don't come in into rancor. You don't come in into women that are doing two-faced. No, you come into a bunch of ladies who are strong, who are friends, who are truly friends, and that makes you blend in. So I think we have learned in the last 11 years, and I think that has really helped us to evolve to who we've become.
But have you dealt with, what you call fifth columnist? I mean, I saw one play out on national television when the person calling
telling Tokwe was not
and comparing TMO with another of your crew, which was absurd. I mean, TMO has always dressed very decent. I mean, so I don't even know where that thought was coming from. But I saw first how you quickly say, cut it. That was only it. I said, cut it. And of course, I love TMO's response. But amongst yourself, how was it handled?
Well, I think so. For us, as you said, we didn't have that issue internally. So, but for me, how I handle it, for me, I think is more important, because internally we know that the lady said her own view, but I got a lot of bashing also because of how I conducted the conversation afterwards, and it was important because the reason why Your View exists is because we take every single view as important. The lady that called, her name was Hawa, wherever she called from. She's a Nigerian. Her view is just as important as the other person's view.
Even if it's not right.
Yes, we may not like it. We may not agree with that. But we must respect it's from somewhere. And that's what the show really, really teaches us. So I was trying to see, yes, she might be wrong, but there's somewhere she's coming from. And wherever it is, even though we don't want to understand or accept it, we must respect the view. The same way recently somebody came online, was talking about a tribal, saying they should kill certain tribes, and everybody was against, and I'm thinking, she's coming from somewhere. Every view, yes, is insulting. It could be hate speech. It is. But she's been arrested. It's from I heard she's been arrested. It's from somewhere. Now we must understand that people have views, and that's why I don't agree with Hawa. But I also understand that Nigerians must respect people's differences. Now, what we need to do is re-educate Hawa. Re-educate and make her understand that the way she's dressed is decent. If you have a personal opinion, it's your own personal opinion. But we, as the majority of the viewers, we like her as she is, and you should respect us because we have no issue. So once we do that, we will all get along as a nation. But when I want to impose my own view that I am the righteous person, no, this is right. Now we are going back to where we're coming from. We must be able to allow others to express even views that are not in line with our own personal moral values or belief systems.
And I agree with that. And for me, I would take it to politics. You've often had backlash. People believing you guys are APC and representative of APC.
Yeah.
Your station is owned by the president. I mean, how have you handled such? First of all, are you a member of APC?
Absolutely not. I am not a card-carrying member of APC, number one.
Okay. But you were in the presidential inauguration campaign council.
Oh, yeah, because, I have worked in different capacities at the time with Lagos State government. And I did that through the former Commissioner for Education.
Okay.
I went with her office and I think I just went to her and said, I need a job. What can you do for me? And then she said, Morayo, I'm doing a project. She was recently commissioner. Okay. So I wanted to help her in supporting her in doing her media work. And that's how I started working with government. So people thought maybe somebody just brought me from somewhere to Lagos State government. It didn't happen like that. I was working with the Commissioner for Education. It was from there I was involved in other leaders within the Lagos State political parties. Yeah. And that's how they just knew who I was, because I was in different committees. Okay. And it was from there also I have a few relationship with some politicians here and there, because hey, on the show, people come on the show. We have relationship with PDP people. Yeah. We have relationship with APC. We have relationship with different parties on the show. Yeah. But I think based on our relationships, and maybe because our station, people believe that is partly owned by the president. So people automatically thought, okay, let us bring her in. So I was drafted into the presidential campaign, and I was invited to come in, and I thought it was a huge opportunity for me. I thought, who calls you to enter a presidential campaign? That can go on my CV. So that's, for me, it was an opportunity. Now, on that day where they gave us the uniform, they said, listen, you have to wear this is your ticket to enter. Because they didn't want it too rowdy. So I went there, and of course when I posted the big pictures, but you see, the truth is that because I had taken the job for my heart, and because I truly believed in the candidate, in my heart of hearts, that's why I accepted. If I didn't believe in that candidate, I would not have. It was my own personal choice, and I was entitled to my personal choice.
Absolutely.
So that's why
Of course, some people came after you. I think I'm one of those who commented about it. That you have the right to support whoever. I didn't support your candidate, but you have the right to support whoever.
Yeah.
I think it's part of what we're talking about, maturity here.
Yeah, and that was even what I was trying to highlight. Yeah. That I will stand on this side. You don't have to agree with me, and it's okay. And that's what my show really is about. My show is about allowing people to express your views. And that's why I got women from different backgrounds, different religions, different exposures. Let's come together and let's have a conversation. See how we're diverse and see how we can all agree and grow together. That for me was what I thought Nigerians would begin to evolve towards. But we've seen that a lot of Nigerians still don't get it. They just want, it's my way or the highway. And I think we cannot have a sustainable democracy if we don't allow diverse views to thrive.
But how do you manage all those backlash for your own mental health? How do you handle that?
So I think
everybody can handle all this.
No, actually, honestly, I think it was from the initial bragging I ever got, which was from when I told my husband could not birth my daughter many years ago, and I got seriously dragged. That thing almost broke my home. It was a really difficult season for my family, and I was so thankful my husband was very, very mature about that in that season. But I think that season taught me something. I made a policy that I would never read comments on social media. So since that time, I don't read comments. No matter how nice you greet me or how bad I don't see it, the moment you're posting on social media, I don't read it. I would rather, if you send me a private DM, I might not, because my PAs usually read those ones. And then, but if you know me personally, send me a WhatsApp message, I'll read that one. But my husband and I have my sister, those ones, once in a while, they read. And when they read it, block, this person, block, delete, block. Or my husband will just screen grab it, say to me, please, Morayo, find this person and delete that person. So they were doing the job for me. And my sister will say, Morayo, please, this person has commented, she greeted you, reply her. Or maybe a celebrity makes a comment on my social media, and she think, Morayo, please respond to that person. She'll tell me, please respond. So they monitor.
Yeah.
So the good tweets, I don't see it. I mean, the good messages, I don't see it.
Tweets.
Bad ones, I don't see it. Those who know me personally then send to me privately. So that has helped me with my mental health. Has helped me not to go crazy when things go bad.
Because you, at least once in a quarter, there's always something that goes viral, and sometimes they're not always. But looking at it, what will you say about the current government now? I mean, you supported them, you believed in the candidacy.
The truth is that the country is hard. It's difficult. We talked about it on the show today. Going back to school is crazy because all of us are having to pay through our teeth, school fees and stuff like that. And, so things are generally tough. But the truth is that I also believe that this is a necessary patch to pass through. My own problem with the current government is that there's a lot of trial and error. Sometimes we may expect you to know everything, and then I can give you percentage. Okay, maybe there's a possibility you don't know everything, but for the most part, you should know. And the president did say, "Listen, blame me if this thing doesn't work because I am coming here because I know what I want to do." So we didn't expect too much errors. We didn't expect too much back. We know that there's a lot of forth, but we shouldn't have too much stepping back or redoing things just because maybe it wasn't properly thought through. So that's where I will probably fault the government because there's a lot of trial and error happening. But I think really it's a rough patch that we have to go through, and I'm sincerely hoping that at the end of it, we'll begin to see, because if you look at some international indices, metrics here and there, you see some positive figures here and there. If you're talking to people who are in the economics, they will tell you, Morayo, we've seen some numbers, but to the Nigerian man, they can't see it. To the woman, to my help, who's going to the market, she can't see those things. So we're really hoping we can begin to see very soon. But between that, we need palliatives. We need something to help Nigerians to know that this thing is not going to kill us. We're going to get through this patch together. So I think one of the key things I'd like government to do is you have to lead from the front, meaning that if we're going to be going through this rough patch, we must see you going through that rough patch too.
Exactly.
Now, Mr. President on his own might say, okay, this is what I'm cutting off. But all the ministers, all the appointees, all the SCs, are they doing the same thing? All those who have been appointed, are they also cutting down on their costs? Are they also are they aligned to the renewed vision, renewed hope? Because that's what the president has said. So when people come on the show sometimes and say, "Oh, we have this renewed hope," and I'm thinking, are you aligned? Because what I'm seeing doesn't look like you're aligned. The president might make some right decisions, but he needs people to follow through. So if one man cannot fix Nigeria, bring Jesus Christ himself. The truth is that if he's surrounded by disciples that don't get the vision, it's going to fall apart. So the truth is that all of us, including even the Nigerian people, we all have to be part of this vision. So recently I was in an estate meeting, and I've never attended any before, and I saw a lot of people talking to the leaders. We appointed you to do this. Yes, you didn't answer us. You didn't do that. I'm thinking, this is Nigeria's problem. We focus so much on that person, forgetting that 4 fingers are on us. We as a followers, we have a responsibility too. So we as a people also have a responsibility to keep our nation, to keep our country together. What are we saying about ourselves? How are we educating ourselves? How are we even being part of the solution and not making it worse? I came into the country recently, and obviously, when you enter Nigeria and the airports and there's no AC and you're queuing and they ask you, NCDC is asking you for something, you start to shout, "That's the problem with this country. All of you," I'm thinking, is that going to solve the problem? Being unruly, being loud, being boisterous on this matter, is that going to solve the problem? It's not. We don't do things like this. So we as a people need also to do better. So it's a two-way street. And if we're going to fix Nigeria, both the followers and the leaders must come together to make it happen.
I love that. I mean, what role, if asked, are you willing to be part of in Tinubu's administration?
I'm not sure I'm more ready to disclose that. Maybe I should actually. I'd like to be a police officer. Because I honestly...
Police officer?
Yeah. Because there's no nation that can function without the enforcement of the rule, the rule of law and order. The enforcement of law and order. No nation. The reason why, I remember when I always reference the insurrection that happened in America, where people just marched up to the White House. I'm thinking, there are mad people everywhere. Everybody's crazy. I mean, I travel abroad where, some people can actually be very unruly, but the law keeps them in check.
Yeah.
And how does the law keep them in check? The police is there to respond. So I think if I'm going to do anything at all in this administration as a media personality and a media professional, I'll probably want to work with the police, with the Nigerian police. We need to restore the dignity, the confidence in the Nigerian police. We need to bring them to the point where they're able to uphold law enforcement. If we can do that, crime will reduce, corruption will reduce, people begin to have respect for each other. So that, for me, I think is a very crucial area that many of us are not looking at. And I think helping the Nigerian police to help them remodel their offering to Nigerians would really go a great deal in making this country better.
Will you also say that the size is an issue? I mean, personally, I've argued that I think across military, police, civil defense, army, we need at least 1 million recruitment. I mean, it can be phased into a 2-year period. Most countries, you have 1 policeman to 200 people, or 1 policeman to 400 people.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, it's like 1 policeman to 100,000 persons, or like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, do you think the numbers, because we're saying there's no job, you can employ all these young people and put them, to...
Absolutely. So I think, I agree with you. We have the numbers are definitely a problem. So I always believe that teachers and police officers are 2 key places that we need a lot of hands. And I think we need more personnel in the law enforcement, no doubt about it. But the confidence to tell you, where am I going to pay all these millions of people? Where am I going to get the money from? So it starts from us increasing our revenue and seeing how we can employ all these people and then get law enforcement done properly. But for me, I really think that the numbers is one of the crucial issues.
But
we have less than 500,000.
My argument is that they're also making money. It's just that the money hasn't been accounted for. In many countries, what comes in from seizure, from crime, all of that is able to go back into funding the police. In Nigeria, they seize certain funds, corrupt loot and all of that. Those things don't go back into the system.
I think it's an assumption. Sometimes you're right. So what we have experienced in the past is that it hasn't. But I think this government has aggressively tried to see how they can ensure that some of these monies are brought back. And I mean, I know we like to always go with what we know in the past, but things are changing. There are people who have good intentions who are actually working in government, and we know quite a lot of money has been going to go back to the TSA, and we've seen that the allocations to the governors have increased. The question is, how is it being spent? Then also the fact that now local government is collecting money directly. These are the real conversations Nigerians should be having, because we focus so much on what's the federal doing, how are they sharing it, what are they doing, but the real issue of governance is at the local level. That's where you and I, because when we travel abroad, do we care what's happening in the president? No, it's about the community that you're living in. It's about the municipal you're living in, or your of the various boroughs. These are the people that you are affected by. So I think conversation should stop going to, what are they doing? Who are the ministers? What's the National Assembly? To how much did my local government chairman get this month? Can I write to him and saying, we need the gutters cleared. We need the public school here. We need more tables and chairs. We need more teachers here. That is governance that is closest to the Nigerian people. And I think that's where we need to put more pressure on, because if we don't do that, they will continue to see that there's no governance. So I think we should make a conscious effort to begin to poke where we need to be poking and not focus too much on federal government. Okay,
I'm curious. Have you guys interviewed Peter Obi on Your View before?
During the campaigns, we had actually requested for them, but we never got a response because my producer really worked hard to bring him on.
Really?
Yes, I can say that.
And this on camera, so
yes, I am telling
Peter
you.
Obi and the team.
During the campaign,
we haven't to come on Your View.
I think after the campaigns, I'm not sure we have really requested for him, but during the campaigns,
are you open to hosting him?
Absolutely,
even now?
Absolutely. If he comes tomorrow, we'll be happy to interview him. Absolutely.
Okay.
You see, my show. One thing you need to know is that we have never been gagged. It's a perception, and it's unfortunate because I believe that TVC is probably the most objective news station we have in this country. I'm telling you, and it's debatable, that's fine. But because we have never, ever been gagged or stopped. Now, people can make their own personal decision because I'm working for this station. Let me not go and it's their own personal. Nobody asks you not to. So I personally, I host the #1 all-female breakfast show on Nigerian television, and I can tell you that nobody stops me. Yes, sometimes during politics season, there could be politicians getting very, very touchy. Why would you do this? Why? Because politicians will always be politicians. They will always act like politicians because they want you to tweak things to them. But we have, especially for someone like me personally, I had the opportunity many years ago to see the current president. And he told me, I love the show. Well done for the work you guys are doing. And I said, sir, I hear that your people always call me that Bodilon is calling, and that we're putting us in trouble, that we are saying things that are totally off the cuff. He now pulled me close, said, Morayo, if I ever have a problem with you, you hear from Tunde Rahman, my personal assistant, or you hear from your CEO. If you don't hear from those two people, it's not from me. Don't mind them. And since then, I have never really cared when somebody calls me to start trying to get me to change something because they're politicians. That's the job of politicians. They would always do that. But our job as broadcasters is to stick to the facts. Now, the ladies are expressing their own personal view on the facts. So you separate fact from views. They're different. But nobody tells us to change my own personal view because it's not politically correct or it doesn't agree with certain political parties. It has never happened on the show. And I've been hosting the show. So it's a perception. Unfortunately, that's the same perception people have of the channel itself, TVC. People always think, maybe because they have affiliation. And it's not true. But in reality, even the America of A, the United States of A, we have stations. The Fox TV, Fox News is different from CNN, and you can almost on the very first sentence from Fox, you know who it is they're working against or working for. Same thing happens to CNN. Even Al Jazeera is very sentimental when it comes to the Middle East. So whether we like it or not around the world, everybody has a leaning, whether we want to believe it or not. And that's why I stand to say, and I can stand to be correct, that TVC has never expressly come out and say, this is the place I am going to. Never, ever. And I can say that confidently, I can beat my chest. We've never done that because we are run by core professionals. Someone like the director of news, Stella Dean Jacob, she has over 30 years experience in broadcasting. This is somebody that you cannot even call her and say, I've had people call her in my presence. People will be calling her to me. She's like, I'm sorry, I am a professional. I will not do this. Because that's the kind of people that has guarding the news in the station. So we don't have those kinds of liberties that other stations, many of you like to work because they can go loose and talking because for them it's a strategy. But we are working with professionals who know that if we don't go that far, we cannot. We cannot keep pushing the lines of this profession. So others do it and they get away with it because people are going there, people are getting the numbers. That's fine.
But I want to argue that sometimes I honestly, at least from my experience, I patronize a lot of media houses. I think sometimes it has nothing to even do with political affiliation. I mean, I don't have a problem being on TVC or being on any other channel, but I've had my staffers give me feedback that some of TVC's people are not professional. And I'm not talking about presenters now, whether producers, whether you don't feel that I'm coming on your platform is a business or is because most times in my own case, I mean, it's a business, right? There's a level of service you expect. There's a level of professionalism you expect. And when you try with other stations, right, it's professionally done, and you get your dignity respected, you are talked to professionally, they appreciate that you are patronizing their brand. Right. And so when you don't get that, and I'm just saying, feedback for you guys, because sometimes when we look at it from, they're just always thinking our problem is that we have this political affiliation and that's why they don't want to come. But sometimes it's not even that, it's that the staffers, run things in a way that you just feel like what's going on here. At least I've gotten those feedback from my people because I'm always like, I want to be on your view or I want to be on this, and they'll be like, we'd rather go this because maybe we had this treatment.
So feedback is taken. Something I can definitely be worked on, but definitely I do believe that we work quite with a number of very well acknowledged professionals in this industry, and definitely that feedback will be taken back.
Well, I mean, it's good really having you, and it's good to catch up after a long while. I think last time we did this was during your book 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
When we did every week, we're doing a lot of interviews and talk. But it's good. It's good to be here. My final question would be, look at Morayo at age 70. What are the things you would point at and say, I mean, I don't care even if you have not achieved them yet, but you point and say, this is giving me fulfillment that I did in my lifetime.
Every single woman who have passed through me or through a platform I created or through a path I have opened up is successful. That will give me the greatest joy. Because every day, one of the things that makes me happy is the growth of the ladies that work with me on my show. When I see them do amazing things, I'm thrilled.
True.
I am so thankful that nobody comes through the platform and feels as if, my life has me, I don't know, I'm just totally lost. But all of them, even those that have left in their own spheres of influence, they are doing so well. And I really feel great that God that gave us this vision for Your View gave us something so important, so vital, that even wherever they go, they still reference the fact that, yes, they used to be on that platform. And it has grown to become a platform where people are proud that they've been on. So for me, when I'm 70, I want to believe that there'll be younger people on the show. We started the Your View Pigeon on Saturdays, which is appealing to certain young people. We're hoping to have Your View for young people going forward. And even Your View for even the elderly, because the truth is that they're also views from their own end. So the objective, I really believe that conversations can actually can help to kickstart development, ideas, and can help people see things differently and better. The reason why we seem as we've been close-minded for many years in this part of the world, because we're not expressing, we're not sharing our stories. Fathers weren't talking to children, children weren't talking to fathers, everybody was just doing it based on what their father, nobody was really saying how we feel. But women are talking and saying, listen, I can handle my father's property. And this is what I have done with it. This is what I have done. I'm like, so she can handle property. Then we should start giving women opportunity to have their own property. So is this conversation that they're telling us that it's possible? I was telling somebody that in my family, my mother's family, there are lots of women there that, that married 2-3 husbands, and, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but they had that experience, but they never told us why. We just knew that they had children, there are 5 different surnames in their family, and they're wondering, nobody really told us why. But when we're growing up now, we're going through, young people are having midlife crisis. They're having issues of, do I divorce him? Do I move on? And now we're seeing why those mothers back then did those things. So if they had told us, I left your father to this man because this happened, I left this man to this man, so maybe we wouldn't enter those pitfalls when we get to our own midlife crisis. True. Nobody is talking. Tell us the issues you're having. How did you resolve it? How are you going through it? Somebody else will see your story, and then they'll be able to go into that pitfall. So we need to have conversations. Let's keep talking. You cannot stop talking. Keep talking about it. It will sow a seed of ideas into young people and make them better people, and even make them have options. So I think that for me is my own legacy, where we started conversations, where women are having conversations, and people have become more bolder and confident, and then society can be more wider when we see that women are empowered in that way.
I mean, let me add this to it. I've watched, I met your husband recently. It was a 3-generation thing. Him, his mom, his grandmother. Yeah. And it was just such a beautiful sight to behold. And getting to hear that you all live together. Yeah. I'm curious because a lot of people don't hear this story. You've always said, my in-laws are living with me, their hell is difficult. And you've had a beautiful time living with not just your mother-in-law, but
your grandmother-in-law.
How is that like?
It's been a blessing, I won't lie. Yes. So obviously everything is not rosy, because sometimes Momo is the great grandmother, his grandmother.
Yes.
She is fabulous. Anything you give her, she'll eat. She's not picky.
Okay.
But grandma, but she loves to cook anyway. So you rather just let her do her own thing. Just make sure that there's no groceries in the house. Okay. But I think they have been a blessing for me because of the kids. The children have their grandparents around, and it's such it's got them to, and it helps them to converse and understand their the grandparents. And also, I think one of the profound things that I really liked about the presence was during the NSAS, where TVC went down, and I was practically abducted by those guys when they came in, punched me in the face and pushed me out there. And then when my husband was telling his mom and his grandmother, this is what's going on right now, and everybody was hidden in their house, these two women went on the street facing those thugs, saying they were looking for me. They walked through the thugs, saying they're looking for me. So they walked. There's a back end from my house to TVC. Yes. It's also far. Yeah. So they were walking, looking for me.
Wow.
Was until when my husband now saw somebody who said they've carried Morayo. Don't worry, she's safe somewhere. They put her in a safe house. That's why he now told me she's in a safe house. Let's go home. Until they now snuck me out to go home. But I was really touched that the fact that these two women did that for me. So I cannot quantify the value they bring. Is it the prayers? Is it the blessings? Is it the constant attention? Is it the constantly putting my husband in check? Because when Brown starts doing Brown, Mama will come to him. Don't try. Mama is there fighting my battles, So, but I can't quantify it, So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be with them, and I pray that God will continue to give us the strength to be their support system here in Lagos.
Yes, for support system, it makes a lot of sense. It's a beautiful thing to behold, honestly, and I think I'm happy we're talking about because there's been such a negative connotation to mother-in-laws being around and not everybody has
so let me not paint a picture that it's all rosy. So for example, there are clashes where there was a time many years ago where my mother-in-law, my help was air drying, using a whole blow dryer to blow out my daughter's hair. My mother-in-law said they shouldn't do that because it's going to burn her brain. That all the cells in her head is going to be affected. They shouldn't do that. And I was wondering why my daughter's hair was not blown out. I was like, okay, grandma said they shouldn't put. I said, grandma, no, Morayo, much of my see, just telling me in English that I should tell them to stop using hair dryer. That it's not good for the child, but let it air dry. I said, mommy, unfortunately for me, I dried my hair with air dryer as a child today, and my brain wasn't fried. Little things like that. And she was insisting that my brain would fry, and I kept saying my brain has not fried. Or you want to cook rice for grandma, and grandma did not monitor that you used salt and water to wash that pot. So salt and water must be boiled to heat up the pot, to wash it first before you. If she doesn't see that process, she will eat your rice.
Wow.
Hey, did you wash it? You tell her she won't answer you until she sees it. Okay, they use salt and water to wash that pot. She will eat it. So little things like that. But for me, it's old age. It's what she's used to. Yes. And it's just how you take it. So if you're able to, and I have a husband who also allowed me to have a help. Some people are very hard. They don't let their wives have a help. I have a help. I had a help. In fact, it was this year, one of my other helps. I had two helps. So I had a support system. I was able to.
You can be a professional, a mother.
I didn't have to be the one slaving in the kitchen. A tomato, let them go and buy it. Let there be groceries. Mom still likes to cook, but just make sure there's food in the house. Once there's enough food, she will cook as much. She'll be okay because her own pot is different. So those things we lived happily because I had a system. So that was part of what helped me to survive with I'm still surviving with my mother-in-laws living in the house.
Okay. Thank you for coming,
Thank
Morayo.
you very much.
Good to see you again. Hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
We're done with another beautiful episode of the Leadership Podcast with me, Stephen Akintayo. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Love you. Bye-bye.